You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
Today, I'll be interviewing Hernan Vazquez. Hernan is a digital marketing consultant, paid traffic expert, and trainer who works with small businesses that are wanting to acquire more online customers. He's been advising entrepreneurs and companies since 2010, including the likes of Frank Kern, Cardone, amongst many others. All right, Hernan, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell our listeners something interesting about yourself and also where you're calling in from today.
So right now I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I go back and forth. I'm originally from South America, but my clients and my companies are all in the US, so I go back and forth a lot. So I've been in a conference a couple of weeks ago. Actually, last week, I went to a Fun Hacking Live. Then I went to Miami for a couple of meetings and all that stuff. And then, back in the home office. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Well, tell our listeners a little bit about your company. What is that you do, the name of the company, what kind of value it brings to the marketplace?
Yeah, for sure. So I have several. One of them is called Semantic Mastery. Okay. What we do with Semantic Mastery is we help digital agency owners get more clients, get better clients, get a better paying clients, and scale, build their teams so that they can actually scale their operations without they having to do everything themselves. And most of our audience are people that have, in any way, shape, or form, 2 to 5 clients. They are offering web design services, PPC, SEO, graphics design and all that stuff. And what we do is to help them go from 2 to 5 to 7 clients, to 10, 15, 20 clients without then having to do everything themselves. I had the opportunity to work with a couple of big digital agency operations, putting together some of those. So all of those learnings, all of those teachings are, what we're trying to do for the audience that we have. So.
Yeah, doing this show for, getting close to 100 episodes here. I've had a lot of digital marketing and advertising peeps on the show, some that have been able to scale, and some I feel like some of the questions at the very end of the show will ask you the same. A lot of them were like kind of stuck on having one client and having all of their eggs in one basket, right? And because it was just them. And so I think it's a natural evolve process with so many digital agencies and companies like yours that help them not be a one-man show and truly turn into an operational, like departmentalization kind of company, because there's too many people out there, I think, especially in digital marketing and advertising and agencies, trying to be everything to everyone. And do you see that a lot? Do you see a lot of people focus? Because I like when I chat with people that, and obviously you're in a different world because you're helping those agencies, but do you see a lot of people out there focused on everything? Or would you recommend, if you're a digital agency right now listening, or just in general, to focus on a specific platform? Like a lot of people focus on LinkedIn, a lot of people focus on Facebook, Instagram. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. And yeah, I think that one of the things that, I learned through my path, I've been doing digital marketing for the past 10, 12 years. And I decided to focus strongly into paid media, paid acquisition, specifically Facebook and Instagram ads, a little bit of Google and whatnot. And that has helped me a lot in terms of specializing myself and in terms of actually becoming the expert in that field so that people can go to. So I do see that, I had the opportunity of working with large agencies. I helped Cardone and Frank Kern put together the entire operation for their agency last year. And, it was like really eye-opening to see how we went from 6, 7 people working for the agency to 55 people working at the agency by the end of last year. That was in a span of 8 to 9 months.
Wow.
And it was a big operation. We went from, 20, 30 clients to 250 clients. And one of the main issues that we had is that each client was so diverse, right? Each client was so diverse. We serve info product marketers, but we also serve local chiropractors, or, we serve it was all over the place pretty much. And it was good. It was fun. But it was also really, really challenging. So I think that for everyone out there that has, their agency, they're trying to be everyone to everyone. And And that has happened to me as well, trying to do web design, and then the client asks you for something else, and then they ask you for some other stuff and whatnot. And I think that specializing allows you to scale much faster, because let's say that you want to do Facebook ads for local chiropractors in your area, right? That allows you to understand the marketplace and allows you to create processes and templates that are pretty, that you can replicate that. So the landing pages and the ads that you run for one client, you can run them for the next client and the next client and the next client. And that allows you to scale. You start talking their language. So I think that specializing brings a lot to the table, because otherwise you're all over the place. And then if somebody asks us, who's the Facebook ads person, if I'm a chiropractor, who should I talk to? And then your name pops up. You know what I'm saying? Does
Absolutely. Yeah, Hernan, and I appreciate that. And I ask questions like that. To me, I think they're rhetorical questions, but I like the listeners to understand why. Because I think just because a lot of people think now, you can still call it new, whether it's been 10 years in the marketplace where people are kind of doing the digital agencies and pushing them more and more. Now, the last 5 years, we know they've just blown up. Which obviously hence created a company like yours, which is awesome, Hernan, that you're able to help them. But I like to just remind people from a high level that any kind of entrepreneurship is trying to carve out a niche a little bit in terms of understanding where your niche is, but also not trying to be everything to everybody. Because when you do that, you're nothing to nobody, right? And so that's important. I think a lot of times people think, oh, this is a new agency deal. I got to be able to learn how to do landing pages. I got to know how to do the ads. If you focus on what you do best, you even start niching down. Let's say you focus on LinkedIn. Great. Now you only do LinkedIn. Are you doing landing pages? Possibly, but really you just know that platform in and out and be specialized. And then you can start figuring out your target demographic, right? Like you were saying, is my target demographic a chiropractor? Is dentist offices? And you can become the best at the dentist office world, and you just learn how to, again, market to them and get to be the best at what you do in your craft. Give me a time where you felt in your kind of entrepreneurship journey here that you felt you kind of hit rock bottom, or you were close to it and you had to kind of overcome that disaster, if you will.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So that was, I would say, when I was starting my career, that was like 8 years ago. I moved, I had a really comfortable job. Yeah, this was like 10 years ago. I had a really comfortable job. I was doing recruiting for a big company here in Argentina and whatnot. And I decided to pursue this entrepreneurial dream, whatever that meant, right, back in the day. And I didn't have it clear, but what I decided to do was to leave my job, and I moved in with my girlfriend to a nice city down here in Argentina called Cordoba. And without a safety net, she had a job, I didn't, without a safety net. And I was trying to do everything. I was trying to learn as much as possible. I remember I was selling link building packages on Fiverr back in the day,
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to do that. And that's how I got started. But the reality is that, it got really tight because she had a job, I didn't. At some point, we spent 6 months. I was trying to figure this thing out, this internet marketing thing, this digital marketing thing out. And at some point it got really tight. Yeah. It got so tight that we didn't have money to heat up the house. I was writing articles for $5, $4 a pop. That was really tough. But that taught me a lot. That really showed me that, you can overcome that. You can learn your way through the obstacles. That showed me, that you need to stick at it, because at some point something will come through. At some point something will pop up that will allow you to start doing more of it. And I just stuck to it, and that allowed me to have some resilience in terms of, well, if something doesn't work, what do you do? Well, you try the next thing. And if that doesn't work, what do you do? Well, you try something else. And if that doesn't work, what do you do? Well, you try something else, and all of that. So that helped me really focus and narrow down on what I wanted to do. Yeah. And that's how I started getting my first clients. People started reaching out outside of Fiverr. They will start hiring me personally and whatnot. So that was quite a ride.
Awesome. I love the story, man. I love that. That's awesome. Good for you, Hernan, in terms of sticking with it. I know that I've been with you when it comes to just long nights of just watching a ton of training videos on how to do online ads, right? Right. Watching it over. And I do my own company's ads, and I've done it for years up until recently. and I get people to help now at this point, but I still dig in there every once in a while just because your demographic more than anybody, of course. But like about a good 7 years, but a lot of it was probably in your world too, that, it's just continuously watching videos. How does this even work? Then Snapchat comes out, like, great, now I got to learn the Snapchat advertising stuff. Now I got to learn Twitter. And so I get it. But from Fiverr to where you're at, congrats on that. Because the grind, you went to the School of Hard Knocks. And I'd love to just ask that question because people listening are like, oh, yeah, it's just all rainbows and donuts and everything's going to be great. And we're going to be skipping along the way to all this, skipping our way to the bank. No, right?
No.
And that's important for people to get. But I also want to make sure that they see that learning that is what allows you to be successful, not just trying to, swing. You're not hitting home runs on every run. Why do you think a lot of entrepreneurs out there, in your opinion, Hernan, why do you think they just give up?
I think that they give up because they're being fed this instant gratification type of approach, right? Like you hop on Instagram, now you hop on TikTok or on Facebook or whatever, right? Or Snapchat, whatever. And you're only seeing the highlights. You're seeing people killing it. You're seeing people, balling, and you're seeing people like everything is a success, right? Everything, every product launch is great. And every business that you built is great. And that's not the truth. That's the highlights, right? So if you're seeing the highlight reel and then you turn around and then you start implementing, and, people ask me a lot, like, what's the best way to learn paid media? What's the best way to learn Facebook ads? And I say, go out there and burn money, go out there and lose a couple $100 running ads. That's the fastest way to learn stuff. So they turn around and then they realize that this takes longer, usually takes longer than that you would expect. And then, there's the disconnect. There's a fundamental disconnect of what they're seeing, people killing it and all of that. They're being fed that. And then they turn around and they realize that it will take longer, it will take more money, it will take more time, it will take more resources. So I think it's a matter of that disconnect. I think it's a matter of patience as well. I'm a firm believer that you don't, if you don't give up, you will never, be a failure. You just need to stick to it.
I agree.
So I think that's the thing. Everyone is searching for that magic bullet, that one hit wonder. And, I've always thought about this like this, I'm a big soccer fan, here in Argentina, everyone is playing soccer and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I look up to Lionel Messi, and then it's like, nobody knew who he was. And then all of a sudden everyone knew who he was. So that was an overnight success that took 10 years, it was an overnight success that took 10 years because the guy was the hardest working in the field and everything. So now everyone knows who he is, but then 5 years ago, nobody did. That's an overnight success that took 10 years. So I think that success compounds, as you keep on trying, as you keep on doing. So that's basically why I think everyone's giving up, because
I agree. No, we say that a lot. We always say that on the show. I say it a lot, at least. And I think a lot of people are kind of hearing that sound bomb a lot of different places on podcasts and books. It takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And it's absolutely true. And a lot of people, I think, I like what you said earlier, and I want to kind of reiterate that. Kind of don't believe the hype and the highlight reels that are out there. I love that part, because it's true. Everyone's jumping fences and taking pictures in front of jets. Right? Mm-hmm. Don't believe all the horse shit and realize that stuff just happens overnight, man. And I think it's unfortunate, because I like to speak to, and a lot of our listeners are the 20, 21, 25s, that are getting ready to go to school, go to class, and they're listening in the shower as they get up. And if you're listening to this, and you're in that kind of millennial Gen Z demographic, just understanding that stuff comes, but it takes 10 years. It could take 10 years. And that's across the board. I think there's no one hit wonders is another thing that we want to make sure we go out there. No one's just swinging, coming up to the plate and hitting home runs. Okay. Babe Ruth swung the most out of everything in the MLB. So remember that, how many shots you had to take. Are you struggling to grow your business? Have you ever thought, man, I wish Mike could answer my specific questions about my business? Well, you're in luck, and I can help. Go to michaellevis.com and sign up to schedule a free live on-air call today. That's right. For a limited time, we're recording real business owners with real struggles. What are you excited about right now within your industry and your kind of business?
So I'm excited about a couple of things. Number one, we just launched, a new product for the the company that I just told you about.
Yeah.
That's going to help. That is going to enable us to help many, many more digital agency owners. So that's pretty cool. I'm also excited about a new workshop that I'm putting together that is about, paid advertising and whatnot. And I'm mostly excited about go out there and sharing the message with a lot more people. Like, I've always been putting out content. I've always been, trying to create content, have a YouTube channel. I never really promoted it that much, but it has been growing. YouTube is pretty cool like that. You just put an asset there and then it grows. So, you just leave a video there and then it starts growing and starts getting a lot of views. So that's pretty cool. But I'm mostly excited about sharing the journey and everything that I've learned with new people. Yeah. So that's why I'm getting like three or four more people in the team that they will help out, putting together a lot more content so that I can go out there on social media and take it to the next level in terms of, sharing the message. Because I think that what we're doing here, what you're doing, it's super, super valuable, helping entrepreneurs and helping people, sticking to it and being inspired and whatnot. I think that there needs to be more of that, more real stuff in the social media world and less of the, highlight reel and more real stuff in terms of, hey, listen, we tried this and it didn't work. We tried this and it didn't work. We tried this and it didn't work. Everything that didn't work, but what's the teaching out of that, right? What do you learn about that? So I'm really excited about those 2 to 3 things. As usual, it's never one thing. When you have a couple companies, there's always a couple things to be excited about. So that's pretty cool.
Good for you, man. I'm glad. And I'm glad that you're jumping into the game of just kind of spreading the word that's exactly what I'm doing here and and still have companies to run. Right. But, on a bi-monthly, I guess, basis, I'm sitting here for 14 hours, sometimes standing, just grinding through people's great stories like yourself, Hernan, and just making sure we're given a daily 7-day-a-week inspirational kind of message to get people out there to push into or take the dive into the entrepreneurship, or those that are already entrepreneurs definitely get excited about learning new ideas and or realizing that, because everyone's going through some kind of struggle, whether it's in their life or business. Hence the name of the podcast is A Business in Life. Those things kind of come together, right? And if your business isn't becoming the engine that runs a great life, then what the heck are you working for, right? And so I definitely want to make sure that people know the game plan of this whole thing is to make sure you're listening. You have people out there listening, hearing stories like Hernan's that coming from Fiverr to where he's at. That's great, because a lot of people listening might be on Fiverr writing $4 ads, right? Writing $4 copy. And that's part of the game, learning, doing, mastering your craft. Definitely a way to go. Give us a little bit about how you feel you've been able to build the life that you want to live, Hernan, by building your business.
That's very much still in the works. Let me tell you that,
Of course. Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's very much still in the works. I think that living the life that you want is never you never put an end, to that,
right.
You never put because there's always new challenges and there's always new goals that you have, and every year, that we're pretty early in the year still. So every year comes up with new challenges and new goals and all of that. But I think that it's kind of cliche, follow your passion and all of that. But I think that the fact that you can make a career out of pretty much anything. I was listening to Peter Diamandis yesterday, and he was saying, you can make a career at this day and age. You can make a career pretty much out of anything, which is really cool, right? Yeah. If you thought about this wasn't available 15, 20 years ago. So now the way you, and I don't believe in that, work-life balance type stuff. If you're an entrepreneur, you're living
yes.
you're living your business and you're living your life at the same time, right?
If you're balanced, you're not moving, right, Hernan?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah. So you need to be moving forward. So
that's right.
The point is that you can make a career out of anything you want. You can actually go ahead and put out content. You can actually build an audience of people that are interested in the same thing that you're interested, which I think it's pretty cool. And then it's a matter of cherry picking what you want to do. Like, for instance, I've been involved in big agencies. Maybe having a big agency is not my thing, but I know how they work. I know how they operate. And then if you're going to have clients, you can really pick and choose the type of clients that you want to work with, which is pretty cool. Because something that I always tell my people that I hang out with and my students, whatever, is that you need to actually sit down and think about the traits and the skill sets that the clients that you want to attract needs to have. Like, for instance, on my end, they need to be willing to invest in advertising. They need to see advertising as a way to grow their business. Like, if they see it as an expense, it's not going to be a good fit. Then they need to have an abundance mentality. They need to know that when they are investing on ads, something's going to come back to their business, right? And number 3, they need to be willing to test, because again, it's never a one-hit wonder. It's always a lot of testing, a lot of tweaking, and all of that. So if they're not willing to test, then that means that they're not going to be a good fit. So having really clear traits and guidelines of what type of people you want to work with, whether it is clients or whether it is partners and all of that, will help you crafting your business the way you like it. Like the clients that I take right now, the clients that I have are pretty cool. People that I would hang out with. And I think that helps a lot, right? I had clients in the past that weren't cool at all. I just took them for the money. And they end up being a problem. And the partners that I have as well, they're pretty cool as well. So
I like that.
That's a really
good point.
And write that down.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think we'll definitely pop that. I love the sound bombs. We'll throw this in the show notes as far as it's okay to be choosy. And you're in a good position when you can be picky about who you work with. You're not dating everybody out there, are you? Business and Life Nation? I don't think so. So you can't, you know what I mean? You should probably be choosy about who the heck you work with. I do the same thing in the coaching world. I can't help everybody. I know that. I would love to, because that's just me. I would love to have a mastermind and get like hundreds of people. But reality wise, I like to be able to work with people that I resonate with, people that like the show, people that kind of just be like, listen, I get it. Let's just focus on maybe a couple of people in the travel industry, a couple people that are focused on just trying to scale. How do we get from small to big? How do we get from a couple 100,000 to a couple million, right? And that's what I'm able to do specifically for a lot of clients, but also a lot of it's also just kind of business and then life coaching sometimes too. Not that I'm a life coach. I really focus on the business, but we all know that at some point, if you're helping others, you're going to hear the dirty laundry about what's going on in the business, right? You're going to hear how to get them out. All of a sudden, there's an emergency. A employee is stealing. A employee has to go, and I have to fill that void. So a lot of things happen, and that's why I think coaches, advisors, and agencies, and of course, help with them like Hernan to come and help you scale that business is so important. If you think you can do it on your own, and a lot of times it's just going to take longer, right? So definitely invest in someone like Hernan if you're an agency out there to get the word out or getting the word out for Hernan, but just to be able to kind of scale and make your life a lot easier. And that's important. I think sometimes you probably forget that sometimes, Hernan, but that's really what you're doing. At the end of the day, these CEOs are like, thank God I can sleep, right? I can be a CEO, not a chief everything officer. And a lot of people are doing that right now for sure, man. Get out of all your successes. My final question for you, Hernan, is out of your successes and your failures, of course, in business, what is the one piece of pardon advice that you give to the Business and Life Nation out there listening today?
I think that, and we kind of touch base on this, I think that the fact that you need to be curious enough and you need to be willing to test and to test different things, and to, if that doesn't work, try the next thing. And if that doesn't work, try the next thing. I think that that's one of the best advice that I can give everyone out there, because you can go out there and buy the next course. You can go out there and buy the next shiny things. But at the end of the day, you need to roll up your sleeves and start testing and start, putting out your message out there, start putting out content, putting out ideas, find your voice. And that does take time. It does take time. It does take a little bit of money if you want to accelerate the process. Sure. It does take that. So test as much as possible. Don't if you're buying a course, go through the course. If you're buying a program, go through the program, but then you need to go out there and implement. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned that helped me a lot.
Nice. Thank you. That's right. Start testing, start failing, spend a little money, invest in yourself. Hernan, where can people find you?
They can find me on YouTube if they search for my name, Hernan Vazquez. HernanVazquez.com is also, my website. But yeah, I put out a lot of content on YouTube, also, on social media. So if you search for my name, I will definitely pop up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and dropping some knowledge bombs with us today.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow, because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.